Welcome back to Real Talk with KMG. I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas holiday and a Happy New Year. I know I did. Got some time away with my littles. We went skiing. Mary Grace, how about you? Did you have a good holiday?
Yeah, I spent time with my family and got to go up see a little bit of snow over the New Year's. So just a good
Nice.
time.
Yeah. All right, so what are we talking about this week?
Today we are talking about how a lot of the agents in the industry this year did not see any sales.
We saw a statistic. What was it? 75% of agents did not sell a single house last year.
Yeah, so it seems like that's a lot.
That is a lot. And honestly, at first I was really surprised by it, but then I'm not when I think about it. So we know when COVID hit, everybody became a real estate agent, and it was pretty easy to sell houses during COVID. As much as I hate to say that, it was that typical put a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and pray that it sold. And you honestly didn't even have to get that far because as soon as you listed a house or talked about a house selling, houses are selling themselves. And I think people saw that. They saw that it was a quick, easy way to make money, and literally everyone became an agent. And last year, things changed, right? We saw the market make a pretty hard turn from that easy, strong seller's market to a buyer's market. And I think that people that didn't interview agents, that didn't talk to sellers agents, I think left a lot of money on the table. And we picked up quite a few listings actually that unfortunately had been listed with two, three, four agents prior. And then by the time we got the houses, we definitely had to reposition them, remarket them, whether it was stage them, add extra levels of marketing, sit down with the sellers and kind of, just go through some couple extra layers of how to sell those houses. And it sadly doesn't surprise me that a lot of agents fell out of the industry.
You think that was just from lack of knowledge because in COVID they didn't really have to learn how to do anything?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they don't teach you how to sell houses in real estate school. Matter of fact, I don't even know if we look at a contract in real estate school. They don't teach you how to market. They don't teach you how to sell a house. They don't teach you how to navigate a contract. They definitely don't teach you how to do repairs. And during COVID, none of that was done. So there's a lot of agents that even still today, I mean, we're in a deal right now and we're on the buy side, and the poor seller's agent just has no clue how to navigate her clients through repairs. There's a couple liens on the houses that she didn't ask those questions up front, so she doesn't know if there's any money to give, agent commission. She doesn't know if there's any money to give for repairs, and she's just completely lost. And I think it's purely a lack of education. And at the end of the day, the seller's the one that misses out on the boat financially, um, regardless of commissions. So I think people that focus purely on commissions as opposed to focusing on education and experience, and if your agent knows how to negotiate, the sellers are the ones that lost out.
That's fair. Do you think that maybe like advancement of technology or anything like that has kind of contributed to this lack of using a realtor as well?
Oh, absolutely. I think that technology is fantastic, right? So I think it's great that buyers and sellers have access to so much more than they did previously, right? I mean, gosh, I think there's probably agents that are much older, much more advanced than you and I, and they talk about having a book for the MLS, right? Where we can wake up and, when we're bored at night, I'm people that are not into real estate as much as we are. I think that, we're junkies. I don't know about you, but I'm in the MLS all the time, right? And so it's great. It's great that we have access to houses and homes and stuff, and buyers and sellers have that access. But at the same time, I think that gives a little bit of a false sense of education to buyers and sellers when they have that much access, where I guess you don't know what you don't know, right? And so, we have buyers and sellers that on average, I think buy and sell a house maybe every 3 to 5 years. We close 10 transactions a month. So the things that we see and we're used to and we know what to ask, in a transaction, a buyer and seller just don't know to ask that. They don't know what to look for. And so unfortunately, buyers and sellers have access to this technology, access to this information. So they feel like they're educated. They feel like they're walking into a transaction and they don't need a professional. It'd be like going through a divorce without an attorney. Or it would be like, buying a new car and you get the book and okay, so now that book is on an ebook, or and so you think, okay, hey, now I know my car. I damn sure wouldn't take my car apart and try and rebuild it. Yeah, I just wouldn't, right? I'd still would take it to a mechanic for, them to be a professional. Um, and especially because you're dealing with a professional on the other side. So I definitely think that all this access that buyers and sellers have has hurt them because, we went through a transaction, last month, and this will be my 11th year, and hundreds of transactions under my belt, and something popped up that I've never dealt with before.
Yeah.
And the attorney had never dealt with before. So it's just, yeah, I think, long story to answer your question, absolutely. I think that access has hurt buyers and sellers because it makes, it's a false sense of security for them.
Right, right. They think they can look it up and they know instantly the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on how many realtors we have in the pool right now who are jumping in because they want flexibility and ease of hours, and they
Yeah.
get into this and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of work.
A lot of work. I think that we have a lot less realtors than we did. I forget the number or percentage that I saw from NAR that have dropped out. It's pretty significant. So that has been the one good thing that we have seen, that statistically large percent of agents have dropped out. But and we've talked about this. When I hear somebody say they got into real estate for the money or they got into real estate for the flexibility, I know right off the bat they're not going to be successful because there is no flexibility in real estate. And even when we're interviewing for an admin, definitely the admin side of this, there's, more of a set schedule. But my phone can ring at 9, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and it does. I'll get text messages at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I've definitely tried to set those boundaries just to have some work-life balance with my kids. But that is not, it's just not how this works. People are, again, you buy a house every 5 to 7 years, 3 to 5 years, and it's your largest financial transaction that you're going to go through. And when they need you, they need access to you then. And at the end of the day, in order to be successful in this industry, you have to hustle your ass off because you aren't given transactions. We don't walk in the door and whatever company or brokerage you're with, they don't sit down and hand you, oh, these are people looking to buy and sell, and then you just call them and, oh, okay, we have 6 listing appointments for the day. It's not how it works. And that's why as agents, we rely on our friends and family to trust us and know that we are experienced and, to help us. But it's definitely not for flexibility, and it's definitely not just to, live that bling bling lifestyle, because that's not what it is. It is not what it is.
So what do you think 2025 is going to look like for you, or, all of these struggling agents out there?
Yeah. I think that the agents that have been in the industry for a while, I know a lot of them. I know a lot of good agents that are out there. I think they've built strong, successful businesses. I think that they are going to have a good year. I think that we're going to see the market come back. I think it's going to turn back more to a seller's market. We're going to see rates come down, in my opinion, and I don't think that's necessarily my opinion, but just from the people that I've talked to. We're not going to see 3%. I think that's gone. Hopefully we see them kind of come down a little bit. We're through the election. All of that turmoil has gone down. Hopefully we see some inventory pick back up a little bit. But I think we're going to see more buyers in the market. I think that hopefully sellers have kind of learned to interview their agents, and I think where they learned that from was, if you kind of go back over the last 3, 4, 5 months, you will see, and if you're smart and you look through your neighborhood or you look through Homes that were on market and off market. Homes were still selling. It's the homes that did sell were the ones that had to come off market and go back on market, right? And then they went with an agent that was experienced. They went with an agent that staged the home, that had strong marketing, that had, interview your agent, okay? All you got to do is ask them for their numbers. They'll provide them for you, and if they can't, that means they don't have numbers. It's not difficult, right? Again, if you were going through a divorce, you wouldn't hire a real estate attorney. You'd hire a family law attorney. So make sure you interview your agent. Make sure you find out that they sell in your area, they sell in your price point, they have a marketing package. Treat it like a business transaction, not an emotional transaction. And I think that's where a lot of buyers and sellers go wrong, is they get caught up in the emotional part of it and they don't hire a professional. I think 2025 is going to be a good year. I think that we're going to see it more in a seller's market where. So, if you have real estate questions, if you're curious where you could sell your house for, even if it's just purely informational purposes, or if you are looking to buy or sell it, if you're not in the real estate market, you got to get in the game. You're losing out. And if you just want to know what your house is worth, give us a call. Thanks, guys.